the art direction. We talked about
Yeah, please. This is a really good take.
Things being used as just a surface level. And I bet this is a, I've not watched many reviews, just Skill Up's review on this game. And I bet the art direction is a big, not point of contention, but most people are going to talk about this. And that is because it is really the only representation we've seen of, I won't even pretend to know how to say his first name, but Beksinski's work. I'll just call him Beksinski. That's his last name. He, the entire spirit world is 100% straight from his paintings. However, that's not enough. As much as Beksinski would like to say that, what is the quote? Meaning is meaningless to me. To the point where he explicitly did not title any of his work. All of his paintings are untitled. To talk about them, you have to look at them. And the reason for that is he didn't want to sort of lead the viewer down any sort of misconception. Every work is supposed to be interpreted by the person and be personal,
which is very Thomas Pynchon. If for anyone who's more of a novel person, like Thomas Pynchon, the only thing we have is like 3 pictures of him. There's like nobody even knows really anything about him, and he's in his old works stated that, like, I don't want people to know anything about me. I don't want my life to influence the way they read it. Mm-hmm. It's like I want them to read it for what it is.
However, as much as he might say that, I think that's for a bit of a different reason, a slightly more subtle reason. Not just that this work is supposed to be personal to everybody, but that this work is timeless. He witnessed World War II. He saw the atrocities of the Nazi Party and put that into his work. And all of his, at least the work that the game is specifically focusing on, there were a couple periods before and after the Fantastic period, which is what that's all called, that sort of architecture and the really grotesque body horror that is fused with architecture. That's what this game
stuff he's remembered
is
for, right? Basically,
yes, yeah. The Fantastic period is what people call that. It's so much bigger than anything this game has to offer. Not in that this game is bad or insignificant or in any way, but the story is so personal, and in the grand scheme of the world, meaningless. It really is. It doesn't mean anything that this one person had trauma, and I don't want to come across as though I don't care about people's individual feelings, but all of his work in the Fantastic period is about government and religion and how those things affect the many and how the many contribute to it and affect it and the cycles of those things. It's huge. It's so much bigger. And that's why, I mean, timeless. Just as some of those things may have applied to the Nazi Party and the government that he lived in, and how people sort of were brainwashed by that, those could just as easily be applied to, let's say, Amazon or Google today, the world we live in and the governments we are run by, not just what happened to you in your childhood. It is surface level in that it's just interesting visuals. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeously rendered. But like, comparing Paratopic to Control, it is surface level Beksinski. So I actually don't really like it here. And one of the reasons, other than that it's pretty... uniform all the way through. The major reason that I prefer the physical world to the spiritual world, because the use of it doesn't really get it, I think.
And even if, and it's beyond that, because you could even say, like, Beksinski's work is Fantastic period is uniform in its color palette, but
it uses like 3 or 4 colors.
But it's not uniform in in
It's
every
visuals.
other way. Like there's so much there, and it's so rich, and everything gives something new. And the uniformity here is just okay. Let's reuse these assets. Let's make good use of these things, which is not bad. I think efficient game design is good. I just think that it's not special. Like when you look at two Beksinski paintings that are using the same color palette, you're like, wow.
I mean,
and
there's
you get,
brown. Almost all of the Fantastic period incorporates brown or the grayscale to some way, mostly brown, and then splashing some of those other things in really breathes a lot of horrific
it makes
life into
brown, which a lot of people will turn their nose at, beautiful. Like it makes brown beautiful. Like his
absolutely.
work, it's incredible. So yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. You said it way more elegantly than I ever could. But yeah, it's that's the way. That's the way I think that I felt that way without knowing all that. Like I felt like it was like, oh, that's cool, looks cool. Like that's about it.
Just look at more of his work, man.
Yeah,
it's really incredible, and it's blatant what it is portraying. You don't have to know anything about him. You don't have to know that he grew up during World War II. It's very apparent, and that's why I say it's timeless. 100 years from now, anyone's going to be able to apply that to their government. Anyone in the fictional 1982 can look at Beksinski, and it would be relevant.
Yeah.
So the medium doesn't really use it to great effect. It's great to look at, but that's about it.
Yep.